The content of this video may be academically incorrect and may differ from the facts. It is a conspiracy theory and fiction. Since I am a Korean pharmacist, the English translation may be inaccurate. Philopon is the name of a stimulant produced by a Japanese pharmaceutical company during World War II. Its active ingredient is methamphetamine. When Japan fought the Pacific War, they produced weapons at military factories while reducing sleep. And at that time, they abused it to chase away sleepiness. And when they made a kamikaze suicide attack, they took philopon before the sortie to relieve their fear of death and focus on the attack. During World War II, Germany used it when attacking France. At that time, the battle pattern was trench warfare, so soldiers hid in trenches and exchanged boring artillery fire. As the battle went on, when one side got tired and fell, the other side would charge in and annihilate them. Therefore, not getting tired was the key to victory or defeat. At this time, taking a stimulant called philopon would keep you awake. And because they were not tired, the German army that took philopon was able to annihilate the French army that did not take philopon in just a few days and occupy France. Later, when Germany and the Soviet Union were at war, both countries administered philopon to their soldiers. Because philopon has the effect of increasing violence, the battles between Germany and the Soviet Union at the end of World War II were very brutal. In the current Russian-Ukrainian war, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense has disclosed circumstances in which philopon seems to have been given to Russian soldiers who were running recklessly across the trench lines. The act of rushing in blindly is the effect of philopon. The Japanese kamikaze special attackers rushed into American aircraft carriers even though they knew they would die. And the attack of rushing into Soviet tanks while shouting, "Long live His Majesty the Emperor," during the war with the Soviets in Manchuria is the effect of philopon. Today, if you look at Yonhap News, there is a news article titled "Putin has no will to end the war and is greedy for dominating Ukraine." If you look at the article below, there is an article titled "Exhausting Europe and Taking Control of Ukraine as a Whole." It is very similar to the situation in World War II when Germany occupied France. It is very likely that the Russian military and government leaders are abusing methamphetamine for war. In Asia, philopon was used in the Korean War. If you look at the situation when North Korea invaded on June 25th, it is very similar to the German blitzkrieg. They charged tirelessly to Busan. The tireless charging is the effect of philopon. The majority of the North Korean communists were traitors who served Japan during the Japanese colonial period. Since Japan was suddenly defeated by the atomic bomb, they quickly transformed into communists loyal to the Soviet Union and begged the Soviet Union for permission to go to war to prove their loyalty. Since they were collaborators of the Japanese, they were well aware of the effects of philopon, and they started the war at 4 a.m., and while relieving their drowsiness by taking philopon, they advanced toward Seoul. The Chinese army's participation in the war was also accompanied by the administration of philopon. The reckless charging in with human wave tactics is exactly the same as the situation in World War II, when the Japanese army took philopon and recklessly ran into Soviet tanks. Many of the Chinese communists were traitors who served Japan during World War II, so they were well aware of the Japanese use of methamphetamine. The Tet Offensive during the Vietnam War was also very similar to the use of methamphetamine. They made a reckless charge, resulting in many casualties. The communists of North Korea, China, and Vietnam always use methamphetamine to wage war, riot, propaganda, and agitation.